I'll say that I'm a bit overwhelmed with the unexpected attention I'm getting, because I've lived with this material for so many years that it's quite average to me, and it seems to have a shocking effect on a lot of people. Now, with that as a preface, I have been unexpectedly overwhelmed with media inquiries, so that my most basic routines have been disrupted. And so my request to you is that I'm not giving many interviews, so please do record this interview and use it as you see fit, because I simply don't have time to do many of these interviews, and I really do apologize. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course. So Miriam, Zach, and I were all attending AmpFest when we heard Charles Woods on stage in tears talking about his son Ty Woods having passed away. Then he introduced Nicholas Noe, former Navy intelligence officer, to the stand, where Nicholas then started speaking. Charles was a man who lost his son, and he knew there was something fishy about it, and so he set out to find out the truth behind the passing of his son. Again, my connection to this is through Chris Pirano, who's joined my program twice. Chris was told to stand down. Him and his team were told to stand down, while they could have gone in and taken Ambassador Stevens' life out. It had 40-minute window to take him out. He'd be alive today. If they weren't told to stand down. And so he was a main cog for the development of the 13 hours, but through Michael Bay. That's my connection to this. So I immediately resonated with Charles Woods. Alan Perot has the files that expose the information that exposed Hillary Clinton and connect Joe Biden to the knowledge of covering the Ambassador Stevens' death, the cover-up. And it funnels through Iran. This is where the Obama administration paid off the Iranians $150 billion. And this is where this leak is incredibly important, because it directly indicts Joe Biden as having connection and knowledge of the cover-up of Ambassador Stevens. From an outsider perspective, I'm looking at this and I say Ambassador Stevens was murdered because he was likely going to expose the fraud and corruption of the Hillary Clinton campaign.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you for outlining the topography. Now, as I said in the beginning, this material is very normal to me, because I've acclimatized to this high-pressure subterranean world that I have lived in overseas in the Middle East and Central Asia for too many years. And I was surprised, actually, at the media response, which has eclipsed my personal affairs, so I don't have much time for myself, and that's a priority. And so I am reluctant to give media interviews for that and one other reason I will outline in this call. But I will begin with the warm and fuzzy subject that you raised at the beginning of this talk, and that is, how did I acquire this information? How do I operate? And I can only refer to the history of Outer Mongolia, where the offspring of Chinggis Khan and Genghis Khan, their Khakan generals, had the goal of writing a treatise or book on falconry, which was a form of peacetime warfare to calculate the lay of the land, the weather, the sun, the wind, the bush, and the open spaces for the quarry, the prey, and the predator, with the people as an integral part of the hunt. This continued in medieval times in Europe with the nobility, and in Arabia today, where Osama Bin Laden has been during his entire lifetime an obsessive falconer. And it is in that context I went hunting for big game quarry, Osama Bin Laden, and I used falconry techniques. So to answer your question, how do I do my work? It is in the spirit of a falconer. I am not, as the press has claimed, a CIA officer or agent or employee. I've never been employed by the intelligence community, not $1 of income. I have never been contracted with them, nor with any government, foreign government or domestic. And so I have a asymmetrical perspective in the purest sense of the word, because in our Orwellian world we live in today, where the media is controlled by the thought police, I could never live and work in a cubicle. I had to be in the open spaces with the Arabs in the Royal Falconry camps, in Central Asia, camping out. And I had to have the ability to go into hardship venues with terrorists and to see them as fathers, tribal leaders, religious leaders, because this is a religious conflict for them against us. See, when you train a falcon, you have to coax it. You can't push it. You can't punish it, or you'll lose it. If you do that with a dog, it'll come back for more. You can beat a dog, and it'll still love you. But with a falcon, you have a meat-ripping, blood-drinking, predatory bird living in a three-dimensional world, unlike a dog that runs over hill and dale. A falcon will fly miles in minutes and come and land on your glove and love you. I used falconry techniques to do my work with Arab political leaders who are also falconers. It's the passion. For example, with Sheikh Zayed, the UAE president, he was like father to me. Falconry is the thread because it's a philosophy. What I'm saying is, it was a philosophy with the Khakan generals of Outer Mongolia. It's a philosophy of Arabs and Bin Laden. It's been a philosophy of every culture that has practiced falconry. And the Al Qaeda attack techniques are falconry techniques to entice us into places and to flush us into other places and to get one after the other, use one to attract another. Bin Laden, all of his techniques that he used against us are falconry techniques.